It's the number to call, 43674042. It is our June appeal. We're believing for breakthrough. And, we are standing up against the elements that would try to silence the Christian voice in the marketplace. We're not going to just stand by and let that happen. An area that's really important is the whole area of Christian education. And we have in the studio with us Chris Botfield.
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris is a singer, songwriter, but also a teacher in a Christian school on the coast.
Yes, I am indeed.
So certainly on the coalface and in the front line.
Every day.
How's life in a Christian school these days?
Oh, it's lovely. It's great. It's actually, privilege is a word that I would use not lightly.
Mm-hmm.
We get to share the Bible with the kids. We get to pray in the morning. We get to pray at lunch. We get to respond to kids and families' needs through the eyes of Jesus. You can't do that freely in other sectors.
Yeah.
So every day is different, as any teacher would know. But to be able to put the Jesus lens on that is it's huge.
Now, I know you're at Coast Community School, Coast Christian School, sorry.
Yep.
Not all the families involved there are church families.
No.
Correct?
Correct.
So how do you find that those kids and I guess their parents react to the culture of the school?
We've got a great culture. I think the school's called Coast Christian School. So in the name, it's who we are.
It's pretty clear what you stand for.
And so if you're going to enrol your child at a Christian school, you're going to expect a certain ethos, a certain values, certain things that happen in school, chapel, praying, grace, the way we look at things, the Christian worldview through how we teach. If you as a parent can go, yeah, you know what, I'm happy for that, then come on in.
Yeah.
Call that number right now. But you have to be prepared that it's not an opt-out, opt-in. I'll put my kid in that school, but we're not going to do the Bible study, we're not going to do chapel. You're in for the whole thing.
It's all in.
And you know what? They've got to hear the word of God sometime, and it's raise a child in the ways of the Lord, and they'll not depart from it. So that's my prayer every day, that the way I act, the way I behave, the way I teach my lessons, the way I interact with the parents and the kids, that they may go, if they're not a Christian family, or maybe the kids might go to youth, but the parents don't go to church or whatever, that they'll at least see how we are acting at the school and what we're doing, and go, actually, there's something about that, or you handled that thing differently to what I've seen somewhere else. What's the go with that? Oh, that's the Jesus lens. Oh, okay. Cool. Just opportunity and the freedom that we get at their school to actually teach from a Christian worldview.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a really an accepted thing these days in other sectors. So
Excellent. So, Chris, great to chat about that stuff, but we'll hear about your music.
Yes.
So, I mean,
all got together.
We got a long association with Chris going back to his first album, In Colour Dream.
Yeah.
And
10 years this year.
Is it 10 years? Wow. And you've still got a box under your bed.
I do have a box. See, that makes it sound like no one bought it, but people did. But back then...
You printed a lot.
I printed a lot because it was cheaper to print 1,000 of the things than it was to print 100.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was only going to do a short run of it in actual physical form and have it all online. But it was cheaper. I went, okay. And then my wife's gone, we've got 6 boxes of this stuff. So slowly but surely. But, it's a digital world.
You're more on the digital platform now.
Yeah,
so
totally.
We're going to talk about a track you've got here called The Door.
Yes.
What's the story?
So The Door was a single we did. I say we because my wife and I were together. So we brought that out in February this year, and the guy I recorded the last album with, Broken and Beautiful, Richard, I met him randomly through a friend, got together, I gave him one song I wrote, which I thought, we'll just see what you like, buddy. And he did an amazing job on it. So I went, hang on, I've got a whole bunch of others, let's do an album. So we did an album, had huge success with the first 3 singles off it. Broken and Beautiful was number 5 on the Australia Rhema countdown a few years ago. And that was a popular vote. So I was like, great, cool, man. Let's get together, do some more stuff. We got together, we did a few demos, and then he got sick. Got a serious brain tumour, had some surgery, came out of it. He was paralysed down his right side, but the doctor said that'll come back. It did come back. And then January of 2018, we got together again. Hey, let's just see what's going on, try to finish a few more tracks. and then he got sick again, and that time the surgery wasn't successful.
Okay.
And then he sadly passed away in January of this year.
Okay.
And The Door was the very last song that we worked on. And the irony that the last tracks we worked on was about 7 or 8 tracks together, and it was my quotation marks Christian album.
Yeah.
Broken and Beautiful had Christian themes in it.
Yeah.
And there was only one song, Broken and Beautiful, the title track, that actually had direct reference to God and any stuff. Whereas the rest was sort of metaphors.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do an outright worship album. So we were working on 7 or 8 tracks with him for that. And The Door is my testimony song.
Yeah.
How I came to Jesus.
Yeah.
And so he was listening to that. And then after he passed away, I spoke to his wife and I said, look, I really want to release this track. You fine with that? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And all her family, like, this is the last track he worked on. So it's quite emotional even thinking about it now, but it's probably one of my favourite songs I've ever done. Yeah.
Well, let's have a listen to The Door, Chris Botfield. We will have a listen to it.
There it is.
It just has a bit of a quiet intro. We should have trimmed it up a bit.
It's a slow fade.
Okay. We'll crank that up a bit.
The door, I walked on down the hall, not knowing I would fall, standing here like Saul, like a man who knew much better the war, internalized the war, no victors in the draw. My head, it still felt sore, like a man who knew much better. Pavement in the road can't walk
The Door, Chris Botfield. Nice track, Chris.
Thank you.
And I know it's one that means a lot to you because, as you said, it is your testimony song.
It's my testimony song,
And I have heard your testimony, and we could share that, but we'll probably be on air for a lot longer.
we don't have time for that.
It's quite a story. But yeah, just another place of God showing up at a moment of need. Which,
Absolutely.
Which is really what we're all about here with Rhema. The number of stories we get where people say, flicked on the radio, song just spoke to me.
Yeah. And you sometimes you hear those stories and you think, sure as if that happened. And then it happens to you and you go, no, it does happen. I remember years ago, I don't know if I'm not up at 5:30 anymore in the morning, not listening to the radio, driving to Sydney. But Joyce Meyer used to be on at that time of the morning.
She's on about 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
When I used to work in the city and driving on the freeway.
Yep.
And the amount of times that whatever was on that particular sermon that day,
Yep.
oh my goodness, that's the thing I need.
Yeah.
And you try and tell people, no, you don't understand. And then it happens to them.
Yeah. It's one of those things you think, that's just coincidence. But when you hear about it over and over and over and over and over.
Is there such a thing as coincidence?
Well, I don't think there is.
No.
I mean, I think God's in
Little God
everything.
moments.
So,
Yep.
I call them God incidences.
Yeah, that's a good word.
There was even, for those who are regular listeners, people would know Bob Gass. Word for day. He sadly passed away in the last couple of weeks. But his devotionals are written like a year or two ahead. But the number of times we hear stories on that was like he read my email this morning.
That day. Yeah.
Well, the day he passed away, the devotional he had, actually I think was in the youth one because he does it, was about well done, good and faithful servant.
Oh.
It was
so
like,
there you go.
Okay. So God, you are definitely in this thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the not the trick, but that's the thing, isn't it? To recognise God in the moment or this moment or that moment, not just that was a coincidence, a fluke.
I think it's the willingness of people who want to serve God to step back. And this is a radio station, so there's a lot of stuff that has to be done. But when I look at it from our perspective, all we're doing is colouring in the picture, and suddenly God does the stuff. I mean, we can make sure that the equipment works, we can do all this, but we can't orchestrate the God moments.
No.
We've got to step back enough to go. I mean, I don't know if you can see, I've got a little sign up on my wall here.
I can see that.
Which says, announces, take time to pray before your shift, but then it says, are you prepared for Jesus to steal your show? And that comes out of a Toby Mac song. He's got a song called Steal Our Show. And that's what I want the heart here to be is, Jesus, just take it.
And I mean, I've done worship leading in church like 20 years. Yeah. And it's not the exact same line you've got on that wall there, but it's basically saying that you can rehearse the 4 songs you're going to do today, and we're going to have this break here, and at this time this is going to happen. But if the Holy Spirit turns up, are you prepared to go, well, okay, new
Throw
song,
away the program.
that's it, it's out the door. Or it doesn't matter, we went over half an hour. We finished 20 minutes early. Okay. Like, are you ready to be interrupted?
I've walked into churches where I've been asked to speak for Rhema, and I've stood up and I've looked at my notes and I've just thrown them away. Yeah. And said, this is not God wants me to say.
And sometimes you hear preachers say that, and if you've never preached or never got to share
put
something,
yourself
you go,
in that place.
Oh, sure, as if you rehearse this, but no, it's like teaching. Yeah. Like you may say, well, we've got half an hour for our Bible study lesson today. And it might end up going for an hour because some kid said, hey, what about this? And you go, well, let's go there. Yeah,
let's explore that.
So you've got to be ready to be interruptible.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, on that
side
little
point.
Tangent, we could talk all day.
We do talk all day.
We've got another song here from Chris called Crucified.
Yeah.
Tell me the background.
Crucified, it's actually, we're looking at probably 7 or 8 years old. It's co-write. With Simeon, who co-wrote half of In Colour Dream 10 years ago. And it was one of those, I'm not going to say we're Lennon McCartney, but it was one of those moments where
you wish
he had part of the song. Yeah. I've got this little bit. Oh, hang on, and we didn't. There was no bridge to the song, and I said we can't just have that. The story of Jesus isn't just him dying. Yeah. He actually gets resurrected 3 days later. We can't. So I added that part. Then we changed this bit here, we edited this here, we changed a few syllables, and the next minute this song existed. And we had a really bad demo recording on an old Nokia phone, like not even smartphone time, like Nokia phone. And I found it about a year and a half ago. And I went, oh my goodness, this song. So messaged him, hey man, I'm planning on recording it. You cool with this? He says, yeah man, go for it, whatever. And it was one that Richard and I had started looking at, and we got a certain part through it. Didn't get enough for my masterer to go, we can use that.
Yeah.
So I found another guy at Lizera, just starting a studio. He goes, oh, I can have a look at that for you. So he took a bit of it here, a bit of this there, and then made it into the track that it was. And then I got the wife to sing on it, and my daughter.
Okay.
Hi, Lily, who's had a song written about her already. But she got to sing on it, and I had Ruby, who filmed the video that I made.
Really?
So they're all... It's all a family affair, really. But yeah, it's a story of Jesus dying and raising again.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Well, let's have a listen. Crucified, Chris Botfield. And that's a better intro. We're straight in.
I'll learn a lesson.
Servant whom God had chosen, called his beloved Son. A crown of thorns upon his head, in spite of the life he led. They all betrayed him, kill him, they shouted. He never made a sound. Bruised and broken, picked up his cross as his blood spilled on the ground. We lay him down to crucify the Son of God. Precious Son, for shame his sin was none. We lay him down to crucify the Son of God. He gave his life, though innocent, was led to die. The Son of God we crucified. He is alive. He is risen from the grave. He is alive. He is risen from the grave. He is alive. He's alive. He is risen from the grave. He is alive. He is risen from the grave.
Crucified, Chris Botfield.
There you go.
Nice. Good song, good message, but then it's Easter message.
It was.
You can't really go wrong with that story.
No, that's right. You reuse it every year.
Yeah, not the same way. Refreshed.
Yes. A remix version, perhaps. Next Easter.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear the doof 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 version.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next for you? You're still producing. Is there another EP coming?
Yeah. The plan originally, before Richard passed away, was to do another album, of just a praise and worship album. So I was focused on writing all of that, getting some demos recorded. We got 7 or 8 done, kind of like 90% finished, and then obviously sadly passed away. So re-evaluated, started this year, did the 2 singles of The Door and Crucified, another single coming up probably late July, early August. And then I think I'll try and collate what's there, try and find another producer, and get the next. Try and see if we can finish those ones we started with Richard, because I think it'd be nice to get those out there. But I'm writing all the time.
Yeah.
It's I wrote one the other day called "Safe Place to Be."
Yeah.
Just God's a safe place to be.
Interesting chatting with John Newsom yesterday afternoon, which I just touched on off air. He set himself a goal over a period of time to write a song every day.
Yeah.
I thought, wow. I mean, as someone like me who has absolutely no ability in that area, I don't know how that could even be done.
It's a funny thing, because a friend of mine a few years ago was going to he's a teacher as well, he was going to work 4 days a week and write songs on Friday. I said, what if the inspiration doesn't hit you on Friday? And he goes, oh, no, it will. And it never did, and he hasn't done it. I work... Like we do a memory verse at school every term.
Yeah.
So the kids' pastor will say, this is the memory verse for the term. And it'll be either the NIV version or CEV or Message or something, and I'll go, so you want a song? Cool. And I'll go write a song and send them to her via the phone. What do you think?
And that's
so,
a fairly
great,
simple
cool.
sort of ditty sort of song.
And they're kids' songs.
Yeah.
So it's not not that they're not any less difficult, but you don't have to put too much thought into it.
Yeah.
The last one we just did, the Safe Place to Be one, that she sent me the text and went, this is the verse. I went, okay. It literally took 10 minutes to write, but I was writing it over a different place, because I was talking to myself. I wasn't just trying to put music to a Bible verse. It was like, this is actually where I am right now. Trust God. That was, anyway, so it's one of those things where the inspiration could hit you and I could get home. I could spend an hour on the guitar and have nothing. Or it could just be spilling out. So it's just being aware.
So where are you going directionally with your music? I mean, because there's, as you said, that whole thing about, do I do a Christian album? Yeah. I know you're very inspired by Beatles and some of those sort of bands. And
I think the music I'm listening to at the moment, it's the drums. It's a drum pattern. They're not your traditional just drum. It's sort of the mix of that 80s drum sound without the synth. Is probably the way to describe it. But I mean, that's what I like about co-writing, where you get someone else's input and go, have you thought about this? With the Paper Planes from Broken and Beautiful, there's a sound on there that I heard from the Beach Boys track.
Right.
I went, oh, can we put that on there? And it's hidden in there.
Yeah. I
can hear it.
Yeah.
And if you listen for it, you go, oh, there it is. But that's a hark back to the late 60s,
Yeah.
And I listened to Guy Sebastian's new song, Choir, the other day, and I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. I love that song.
Yeah.
Could I do that? No. Yeah. But could I take something of that and go, that's a cool sound, or I like how they did that. So it's just been open to different sounds and just seeing what works, really. The message will stay the same.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. It's just the wrapping that it comes in.
We're going to take a short break. Before we do, I want to thank Jenny for her gift. Jenny from Wyoming, her gift, $100. So thank you for that, Jenny. Really appreciate that. And don't forget, it is our June appeal, and it's because that we are on air that people like Chris can come in and share their story. So we do want to support local artists. We want to support local community endeavours that are going on in the place. We want to be out in the community more. And to do that, we need some funding. We need resources. So give us a call, 43674042, through the website, rhema.cc. That's secure through there. Or, of course, we'd love you to drop in. We're open right through till about 8 o'clock tonight. There's food, there's tea, there's coffee, there's soup around lunchtime and things. So why not pop in? We're at Suite 4, 162 Central Coast Highway, which is just near the Carlton Road roundabout. If you know where the Total Party Shop is, they often have balloons and banners and things out the front. We're just upstairs from them, and you can park out the back, just drive in next to Clark. We're not after people to come and give us thousands of dollars. That'd be fantastic if they do, but it really is just everyone doing their little bit. Yeah. Whatever God's saying and laying on your heart, don't feel bad if it's only $2. Don't feel, that, but that's not much to give. If all our listeners gave $2, our 100,000 would be met.
Done.
So, I mean, it really is, the widow's mite is hugely appreciated. So
it's not the size, it's the heart.
Exactly. It's the heart behind the gift that makes a difference. So just encourage you, 43674042 is the number. Chris, we've got another song here queued up. Yeah. Call on You. Who are you calling on and why?
We're calling on the Lord.
Us too.
Yeah. This is another co-write from a few years ago now, and again, Richard and I were working on this one last year. It's the memories I have of this song, writing it as vivid as they were the day it happened. We had the band from church together. I had written these 2 verses in my phone. I thought, I want to just jam something, and some of the band just started jamming on these chord structure, and I started singing over the top of it. I was like, no, keep going. And then we stopped that. Someone brought out the Nokia phone again and started filming, and they said, we're 2 verses short. I said, give me a pen. I just wrote the last 2 verses, and I had one of the pastors the wife whose house I was at, leaned over the shoulder going, did you write that then? I said, shh, don't interrupt. Okay, and then again, there's this really awful demo of us in there, and the start of the song's got this like a French accordion type sound.
Right.
And on the original Nokia demo, we're all trying to speak French. And they're like, oui, bonjour. And it was hilarious. And anyway, so we got together with Richard last year, and I played him this really bad recording. I said, I need the same feel. It's got to feel like we're in someone's lounge room playing, and it's just fun. And he's like, I think I can do it. You guys be the judge.
I do notice the track says Call on You version 2.
Version 2. Version 1 is not for listening ears.
Okay, let's have a listen.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
For the
Call on You.
Call on You.
Chris Botfield, version 2.
Version 2.
Version 1 sucked.
Yeah, oh dear.
I want to give a thank you to Tony from Saratoga for his $100 gift, and Steve from also from Saratoga, not related, different last name, for his gift as well. So really appreciate that. That has actually pushed us up over the 10,000. Yay! $10,015. So we're 10% of the way through to our goal. Fabulous, guys. Really appreciate it. We can't do what we do without you doing what you do. It's a partnership. Christian radio is a partnership. Yeah. And while we can press buttons and play music and put tracks in, we can't do it without the funding. And that's the sad reality.
It's the way it is.
As I've said a couple of times, it's really, it doesn't really work when the power bill comes in to ring them up and say, look, we're praying about that.
Yeah.
Because they go, yeah, happy for you, but pay the bill.
Yeah.
And when the power goes off, we go off. So, I really appreciate it. 43674042 is the number, or securely through the website, Rhema.cc. Chris, nice track.
Thanks.
Nice track. It's a very different feel to the others.
Very different.
But it does have that bit of a jamming in the lounge room feel.
It does. That's what I went for.
Yeah, that's what you went for. I think you nailed it. So, what can we expect from you next?
That will be the next single, probably July, August.
So you've been releasing some of this stuff through things like Triple J Unearthed and things like that. And you can
Triple J I did with Broken Beautiful, the album. The blatant Christian stuff.
Not quite so much.
I just haven't. I spoke to a guy down in Melbourne, like a music producer guy, and we just talked about whether that was the best avenue for that. And I was like, but people will hear it and they'll hear the gospel. They went, they won't play it. They'll see that what your testament. They'll see you, and they'll go, no.
Yeah, okay.
So you know what? Let's just. And I mean, before you mentioned about Rhema, you guys played in Colour Dream 10 years ago.
Yep.
We hadn't met before then.
This is true. You're a friend of Shane Edwards.
That's right,
our then Drive Time announcer.
And I remember we did the official launch on air with Shane, and we played every track from the EP.
It was in our little Gosford studio.
It was, yes. And I remember that like yesterday too. But that was the first time I'd ever been on radio, the first time my tracks had been played on air. And that one then went around the country. Yeah. And then when Broken and Beautiful came out, you guys played it. And like I said before, Broken and Beautiful got number 5 in the Rhema Newcastle Countdown. Yeah. Paper Planes got top 30 in the ASA APRA Song of the Year in 2017. With You got top 30 last year. The Door and Crucified and another one I can't remember are all in a competition this year as well. And it's only really because you guys played in Colour Dream 10 years ago that lets me do it, and people go, oh, that Rhema played it. Well, we'll play it then. Yeah. So I thank you.
Oh,
Rick,
no,
but,
it's been a pleasure and a privilege. So we've enjoyed it. And so obviously, if people want to get some of these tracks, they're all downloadable. Yeah. They're all iTunes, usual platforms.
Yeah, Spotify, all those things.
All those things. So
it's the. I'm old school. I like a vinyl LP to look at the cover art, look at the song lyrics, but that's not the way of the world. So digital's fine.
Yeah, it annoys me a little bit even now with some of the CDs, and they try to print the lyrics on the back, and at my age I can't read that writing. You know, grey writing on a brown background and things like that. Give me some contrast.
I like to hold my Beatle records and go, oh, there's a record you can, But I mean, you can put the songs on your phone now. You can do jog around the park, and you can't jog with a vinyl turntable next to you trying to play your songs.
The needle keeps jumping
every step.
That's cool. Chris, always a pleasure having you in here, mate.
Lovely being here. Thanks,
and appreciate your ongoing efforts in refining your craft.
That's what it's all about, growing.
We're all growing in it, mate. So now Chris Botfield, search for him on Spotify and iTunes and all those things.
All those places.
Download some tracks, have a listen. And you're not sort of gigging at the moment, so
no, it's
you're teaching.
I'm teaching,
and you've got family.
And it's fine, and it's family. And you know what? The good thing about the digital world is that you can just release tracks and you don't have to go out and play in pubs that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
So
it's good. It's true. The environment's much better.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Chris, thanks again, and really appreciate you coming in and supporting our June Appeal. The number is 43674042. Let's push that tally up, and Rhema.cc is the website, or of course the doors are